Isn't that kind of weird? I'm reading the finish of this, right? And you know, in like AEW, their style of matches like a million false finishes, right? Like devastating move after devastating move. But the two traded a series of roll-ups that ultimately ended with Guevara getting the pin.
Mm.
So it's like they kind of protected Dustin from taking his finish here. Kind of weird.
Well, let me just say, somebody had texted me and said that said you need to see this match, which I did. And all I can say is what a great match. Dustin is so smooth for his age. Very on point, technical. He slowed Sammy down so it wouldn't be like a lucha match. It was real physical. It was really well done. You know, Dustin didn't look old with a much younger, faster, more athletic guy in there.
But he's lost a lot of weight.
You know,
he's in good shape. You know?
Yeah.
You know what he credits that to, and his being able to move and flexibility, is DDP yoga.
That snap spike neck breaker that he did on Sammy. It's like a crossroads,
really
but he
cool.
spikes him. That looks sick. That Canadian Destroyer looks sick. This was a real good match. And then at the end, that pull-apart with Garcia looked real good. This was not a typical wrestling match. I mean, that was a good pull-apart. They went at it. Yeah, I liked it.
So this is interesting. So this is the Battle of the Belts. Is a big show and everything. And
why is there an interim title? I don't know. To me, this Cody thing's got to be a work. Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something. This to me is what's kind of weird. Is that this is a show that they've known they're going to have for a while, right? So you would think that they would build up like a few like a couple weeks worth of angles leading into some of these matches.
Right.
And I'm looking at this match: Ricky Starks versus Matt Sydal. Just out of the blue, like he gets an FTW championship. Why would this have not been like Starks versus Cage, that has a history, a story behind it, and stuff? They could, like this is they could have had another match for the FTW championship. Has Cage even had a rematch for that belt yet?
He had that match when I was in Philly. They had a street fight, Brian Cage versus Ricky Starks, but I haven't seen him since then.
Because I don't even care. I know who's going to win this match. So Ricky Starks, but this was like meaningless.
Right, but this is another one for their fan base. Right. Two great workers. We're going to give you another good match, and it was a good match, but it has no real storyline, so I'm not interested.
Right. What about Britt and Riho?
I will say this. Lee Moriarty, who came out to absolutely zero. Back up to absolutely negative zero reaction. Okay. Hobbs took his head off. What a great clothesline. That's how you do it.
Okay, because after the match, Starks got heat on Sydal after he beat him.
Right.
So then Lee Moriarty runs up for the save.
Right.
Dante Martin runs out too, and they begin to brawl with Hobbs.
Right.
Hobbs eventually left the ring, and everything calmed down. The commentary, does that sound like that? That reads like another one of their awkward outs.
Well, let me tell you about Dante, though. Dante finally, he came into at least a little bit better reaction, not by much, but a bit of better reaction. But he did come in fired up. Rip Van Winkle finally woke up from his 2-year slumber. What would you like for breakfast, Dante? I mean, the guy finally showed some fire. But that basically what happened there.
That's it. All right. So next is the main event.
So we'll probably be seeing Dante and Ricky next, which will be a great match.
And Cage is
no. First of all,
with probably no build-up and no promos. Yeah,
you're going to have Lee Moriarty and Dante Martin against Hobbs and Starks first.
Right.
And then they're going to let Dante Martin pin Starks in the tag, so then Dante Martin can have a match against what's his name for the FTW championship.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
But what we said was right on the Brian Cage thing. He hasn't had an AEW match since early October.
What, you had a match?
Not an AEW, no.
Really?
He's wrestled for FSW and XPW, believe it or not, since then.
He wrestled for FSW here in Vegas.
Yeah, he lost to Hammerstone in the title match.
Oh, that's why they're not putting him back on TV, because he lost to the MLW guy.
Huh? There you go.
Did you see Konnan? Did you see MLW suing WWE?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you know about this before it happened?
Yeah. No.
No.
I knew it had happened. I knew it had happened. I didn't know he was going to sue him.
They got a decent-looking case, it looks like.
Yeah, he does.
But they did basically interfere in them getting programming.
On Vice.
On the surface, it does. I don't know what all the details are, but on the surface, that looks like a...
Yeah, he does.
Wow. So that's why he's suing, I guess.
Can you see... I didn't notice. Did you see what state he sued him in, just out of curiosity?
No,
Okay.
I don't care. Why?
Because when WWE pulls lawsuits into Connecticut, they never ever lose. Like they beat Raven and Canyon and Mike Sanders in that independent contractor suit. Yeah.
Right.
Just before I forget, Road Dogg is going to come on the show in a couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
We got Road Dogg.
Nice. So Britt Baker against Riho for the championship. Now I knew who was going to win. Okay, but I'm curious to know how this match went. 12 minutes and 47 seconds. Britt Baker defeats Riho by submission. So how was this?
Okay, first of all, they had like Jim Ross and Excalibur with a video package putting over Riho. And nothing that good compared to WWE.
Right.
And really, Jim Ross and Excalibur, nothing against them, but I would have had other wrestlers, involved.
Somebody,
in this.
right.
Right.
Right. It's like, who cares if Excalibur's putting somebody over, right?
Right. Maybe their fan base does.
Right. I want to make a point. Somebody's talking about we've had some of our clips on YouTube, and this is a discussion that, and it's not, I'm not knocking you, okay, but I'm looking at your perspective, okay. Right. So people kind of like, one of the discussions and the thing is like when we talk about what is a star and what's not a star,
right?
And a lot of people were commenting that you say, well, to their fans they're stars,
right? And
I'm like because I'm not in the business anymore and I'm not booking,
right?
I'm thinking like you look at it from the perspective. Is like when you're booking your roster, you're looking at your roster like, okay, well, these are my stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they may not be like mainstream star. Like my definition of star. But like when you talk about this, I'm thinking that's what the difference in perspective that me and you have.
Well, my
stars you're looking at it from like these are their stars. You know what I'm saying?
Stars, it's basically for Mexico. It's usually guys that can draw people, and have mainstream name.
Right.
And but sometimes there are just people that are stars to that promotion, and they draw. They're not mainstream stars, but they're stars for that promotion, and they draw, and that's a very valid, legitimate, I think, point of view. Well,
and then here's what I would question. I don't think like because by that definition, I don't think a lot of these. I think the definition is a little bit different in that a lot of these guys in AEW aren't stars per se by your definition, but they get good because they don't really draw numbers, but they get better reactions than the rest of the people on the roster. like I would conclude, I would say to me, Adam Cole comes across as a star because he gets a big reaction coming in the ring, the entrance and stuff and everything. You know what I'm saying? So he has star power. But maybe like Darby Allin has star power, but like a guy like maybe Orange Cassidy, I don't really look at him as a star anymore. I thought he was like on the upper trajectory, and I think people kind of like they tried to push him as a star, but he kind of just is kind of like the one trick comedy gimmick now. The guy that puts his hand in his pockets and never really gravitated away from his gimmick.
But in a way, this is one of the problems that they have. They're almost like they're almost a victim of their own success. They have so much success that they can't really, spread the love out so much. And guys like Orange Cassidy, who got over to the internet fan, got over to their hardcore fans, who was mega over at one time, and we saw he could have a good match with like Pac, because that was a great match. And when I met him, he's a very, very, very cool guy, bro. Very cool, humble guy.
He's older too. He's not.
He's probably suffered a lot in the indies, and he knows what it's like to make it. And but anyways, a real cool guy. And it's their fault that they haven't pushed him, done cool with him.
Would he?
Because they haven't.
If you were able to use Orange Cassidy in AAA and dropped him in the ring there, would he get over with that gimmick in Mexico?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of he's imitatable. You see, like some of the fans
it's
dress up like
when
him.
You're different,
like the blue jean jacket and the glasses at the show and dress up. He's something you can imitate. He does a gimmick you can imitate.
Different. Everybody copies everybody else. The thigh slap works. Okay, let's all do thigh slap. Let's all put some in Mexico, a mask with bones on it because the parka was popular. So you got a million guys that have half a skeleton look. Now a lot of them look like Pentagon.
Right. And
so everybody nobody knows how to be original. I was original. Disco was original, even though that was a honky tonk man inspired thing. We're all inspired by somebody, right?
Right.
But my was original. I wasn't copying anybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so that made me stick out even more, because it was like, wow, look at that guy. You know, he's not like the rest. You know.
Yeah. So go back. Let's get back to this. How was the Riho Britt Baker match?
It was good. I'm not a fan of Riho. She's teeny tiny. She looks like she weighs 80 pounds. She should be dressed up in pajamas or go into the ring as a little doll or something like that, like an anime character, you say, because she's got zero personality, no character development, no storyline progression besides the fact that she fought Britt a grip of times. Big deal. So, I'm not into it, but Britt's turned into a real good worker.